Welcome once again to another edition of Shelf Life Book Reviews Online. If you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully you will subscribe to my YouTube book review channel. If you're watching this on Shelf Life's Facebook page, I hope you will add it to your favorites and send the link along to your book-loving friends. The first book that I wanted to draw to your attention, a very highly recommended book, is Hollywood Black. The stars, the films, the filmmakers. This is written by Donald Bogle, and it is published by Running Press, and it retails for $44. If you're looking for the ultimate book on the history of African Americans in movies, this is the only book you will ever need to add to your collection. Donald Bogle is a noted historian on filmmaking, and he traces the history of blacks in cinema from actually when movies began in the earliest part of the 20th century to more modern days. The book goes decade by decade, and in the book you will find it is very complex and very complete. And in the introduction, the author writes, and I will go to my notes here, excuse me, he says, Hollywood Black seeks to set the historical record straight. It charts that long journey examining cinema that is often disturbing but also compelling and engrossing. This book spotlights the way that films and film stars reflect the social and political attitudes and perspectives of the era in which they first appeared, and the way those films and film stars looked in the past and to later generations. He traces the very first black film directors, and he goes he talks of here, and I've got notes here. One of the very first is William Foster, who also went by the name of Juli, Juli Jones, and he was one of the first black filmmakers. As time progressed, many white actors had blackface, and they represented the black society, which we all know today that is certainly forbidden and is very, very taboo. But this was the sign of the times, regrettably. And the book also traces. He looks at the first black singing cowboy, his name was Herb Jeffries, and he went by the name of Herbert Jeffries, and he did two. Among his movies were two notable movies, Harlem on the Prairie and Two Man Gun from Harlem. The book is really remarkable in that it showcases all the actors through history, decade by decade, including the greats, Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, Lena Horne, Dorothy Dandridge, Cicely Tyson. They're all here, and there are a lot of classic photos of the stars, vintage photos, reproductions of the ads that you saw at theaters, and it talks about the great Ruby Dee as well too. And the book really analyzes the attitude towards blacks in the beginning, and it looks at several phases of black cinema, including the classic blaxploitation, as they called them, in the 70s. There was Shaft, and a lot of those action films as well too. There was I think Foxy Brown. And but the book, if you are looking for a complete book on the history of Hollywood blacks, the African American experience in Hollywood, this is definitely the ultimate book, and for $44, it is definitely a bargain at that price. The second book, which is very, very totally different from the first, is Hazards of the Trade. An intimate reveal of the 80s and 90s lingerie boom by Phyllis Humby. This is published by Crossfield Publishing, and it retails for $21.95. lingerie stores were a lot more popular back in the 80s and 90s. Today, there are some stores, bigger chains like La Senza and La Vie en Rose, but this was a small town lingerie store, and the owner talks about her experiences back in the day, and she dealt with quite a few interesting customers. They're in detail here. She talks about the shoplifters, those who were very discreet about stealing something, stuffing it in their bags, stuffing it in their purses or in their clothing, and just leaving the store. She didn't know it at first until she saw the empty hangers. And the book is humorous at times. It's serious at times too, as she had some very interesting customers. There was a lady who, sort of a feisty lady, and she had multiple sclerosis. And as the condition worsened, she couldn't come into the store, and so she would call Phyllis and tell her what she wanted. But what she wanted stuffed into a bra box, so no one would really know what she was really getting. And that's a very fascinating part. She also dealt with the fact that men were very uncomfortable coming into the store. A lot of them only came in once a year. That was maybe at Christmas, to look for something for their wife. And a lot of the times the wife would come in after Christmas and bring the item back because that's not what she wanted. There are also other cases where she got interesting phone calls. She knew they were crank calls from students and things wanting 38D bras and things like that. And she also got interesting customers, such as men who came in just really to feel the lingerie, and she knew right away that they were fetishists, and much different than today's customer that might be a cross-dresser or doing a drag performance. But the author packed up shop in the 90s, and she had a lot of happy moments. She had a lot of regrets too that she had to leave, but the positives are definitely all throughout this book. So if you're looking for a different type of book, Hazards of the Trade looks at the lingerie world, the boom of the 90s, and it definitely is highly recommended as well. So those are the two books I wanted to bring to your attention. Hopefully when you're out at the local bookstore, you will seek these two books out, because they are certainly worth your time and your money. So as always, I thank you for watching my videos. I welcome your comments, positive and negative. Please don't hesitate to email me, and I look forward to future book reviews, which I'm planning the next ones as we speak. So as always, stay safe, stay sane, stay social distancing, and do stay in touch. And thank you again. Bye for now.